Hey guys, Miss Sanders coming to you here to talk a little bit about division with an area model. Okay, I'm going to be honest with you. Using area models for long division is not, in my opinion, the most efficient way. I think it's one of the more difficult ways. However, some students are going to feel more comfortable with that, and some problems are going to lend themselves easier to that method of solution. Anyway, if you really want to try area model, it's a little bit different than multiplying. So what we've been used to is real quick, we would have our rectangle and we would break it up and we would multiply, let's say 356 times 17. And we could break them up just by place value and then multiply each partial product and then add it up. Okay, it's a little trickier in division, but it can easily be done. So let's look and see how we might do this. The first thing is, let me give you a situation. So we talked about this in class, talking about the airport, and there's a certain amount of people waiting in the airport for a shuttle to take them back to the parking lot. So in this situation, we're going to say there's 406 people in the airport waiting to be shuttled back. Okay, 406 people. What we do know, one more piece of information, is that 7 people fit in the shuttle at a time, not including the driver. So this shuttle is going to take 7 people at a time back to the parking lot. So we know the total amount of people that's going to be broken into equal pieces. We know the number in each group. So now we just need to know how many groups it's going to take. So how many times is the shuttle bus going to have to come and pick up another group to take them? So that's what we're wondering right here. Now, let's set up the area model, but with a little tweak. We're going to say this represents our 406 because it's the longer side, okay? And this represents the 7. That's how we would do it in multiplication, at least. But let's think about this. In multiplication, we're taking a number and then how many groups we have of that number to get our total. So what we're going to do here is we're going to place our 406 on the inside of this area model. Because we're working, remember, multiplication is just the inverse or the opposite of division. So what we would be tempted to do is split it up, hundreds place and ones place. Sorry, hundreds place and ones place with the 7 over here to the side. And then we're going to divide and we're going to figure out what numbers go up here. But the question is, does 407, are those numbers that sound like they would be easy to divide? I don't know about you, but like 7, 14, 21, 28, 40 is not one of the multiples of 7. So what I'm going to think about over here is I'm going to think about what is a number that I know will work where I can divide 7 into that easily. Okay, so when I think about that, I'm going to come over here and I'm going to think about my multiples of 7. And if I need to look on a multiplication chart, I can. But as I go up, I'm really going to try to get as close to 40 as I can without going over. Because our total has to be 406 or less, the number that we're working with as our total. So if I go up to 42, that's too much. But I know that 350, that's just 10 times 35, right? I can put a 350 here. And I know that 7 times 5 is 350. So this is going to be easy to work with. Okay, but how am I supposed to get the 400 in here if I've just taken out 350? What I'm going to do now is, now that I've decided 35 and 7 work well with each other, I'm just going to do 406 minus 350, and I'm going to get 56. So however I split up this total, this dividend, has to equal my total. Okay, so 300 plus 56 equals 406. But now I know I have numbers that 7 will work well with. So what I'm going to do is, how many groups of 7 can I fit into 350? Well, I know I can do 5 groups to get 35. And by my powers of 10, I know that 50 times 7 equals 350. Now, how many groups of 7 can I take from 56? Well, I know 7 times 8 equals 56. So I know now that 50 and 8 is how many groups it's going to take. If I'm number 406 waiting for that shuttle, it's going to take 58 total groups before everyone is taken from the airport to the parking lot. Now, like I said, this is a little bit more complicated than it needs to be. And I'm sure if you're a parent watching this right now, you're like, just teach them the way that I learned it. Well, I'd be happy to do that. That's on the explicit trade video. But if this is your jam, keep watching. We're going to do one more example. If it's not your jam, you might want to look at one of the other videos. But I think we can work on this and we can get it to make sense. So see you later if you've decided to tune out. But if not, we're going to do one more example with the same word problem. Okay, so I'm going to erase this. And we're going to do the same thing, but instead of having 7 people that fit in each shuttle, we're going to have 14. Okay, so this looks possibly a little intimidating because it is the first time you might have done a division problem with a 14 or a 2-digit number right here. Okay, but we got it. Let's just take it step by step like we did before. So I'm going to set this up. And I'm not going to try to break down the 10 and the 4. That gets way too complicated for what we need to do. What I am going to do is put the 14 just in and of itself right here. I'm not going to break up the divisor. Because remember from our vocab, this is the divisor, this is the dividend, and this is our quotient. So we are going to do very similarly. We're going to split this up. Now, I think what I'd like to do is I just want to take multiples of 10. I want to do powers of 10 with this. So I'm going to take 140. I'm going to break off another 140. And I think I can fit another 140 in here. Okay. Now when I add this up, 140 times 3 is going to be, is that too much? That's 420. That's too much. Okay. So if I take this one off, I'm working with 280 total. So now I got to figure out how much do I have left? What's the difference between 406 and 280? And I know it's 126. Okay. I know that 14 times 10 is 140. So I know that half of that is 70. So that means 14 times 5 is going to be 70. Now we're going to take off 70. And we have 56 left. So let's put our 56 here. And, okay, what do you think? I know that 7 times 8 is 56. So I'm thinking that 14, since it's double 7, is going to be times 4. But let's try it. 14 times 4. Let's go over here to the side. Oh, we're right. So 10 times 14 is 140. We do that again. 5 times 14 is 70. And 4 times 14 is 56. Okay, if I add all these up, the number of groups, the number of groups that it's going to take everyone away from the terminal, so the number of trips the shuttle is going to need to make is 29. Okay, If you've bared with me this long, congratulations. I'm very proud of you. If this is your jam and this is your method, we're going to work on this more in small group. If you've ever done Big 7 before, this is very similar to Big 7, but just in an area model format. I would love for you to look at the other videos, and I'm excited to see you practice what you've been learning. All right, guys, see you later.